Thank you for turning to page 121. Still under the weather with COVID. Takes me a little longer to get over it each time I have it. If you're familiar with the history of my channel, you know I started this channel back in 2020 because I had had COVID rather severely in March of 20, and it left me with permanent lung damage. Consequently, if I get a cold or the flu or COVID, it takes me longer to come back than it used to. But today we're going to take a look at the Traveler Core Rulebook Update 2022, which, by the way, is one of my favorite books in gaming. And I'm a Traveler diehard. I love the LBBs, but I found this book to be so useful. We're going to take a quick look at contacts, allies, rivals, and enemies. You can get any of the four during character creation. So we're going to talk a little bit about contacts and allies today. I'm going to save the rivals and enemies for a later video. So I'm going to read the definition of a contact. Contact, these are individuals the traveler knows and has had friendly dealings with in the past. They have useful skills or positions and may be willing to aid the traveler. Basically, a contact is that broker that you had good dealings with, you've enjoyed a friendly relationship with, and you've both made money when you work together. Therefore, he is prone to be nicely disposed toward you and will help you out when he has the opportunity. He won't really, move the world to help you out, but he will help you out. And then you have allies. Allies, these are like contacts, but willing to help the traveler and actively go out of their way to provide aid. A good example of an ally might be someone that you crewed with. If you were from the Navy career and retired, maybe this is a bunkmate that you had in the Navy, or just a crony, just a guy that you hung out with and took liberty with. And this isn't a person that you stay in touch with much, so he's not really much of a friend anymore now that you're out of the Navy, but is still likes you and still willing to go out of their way to provide aid. Allies can be really good if you're in a situation where you're on a planet and you need transportation. And for whatever reason, you can't get your hands on anything to rent. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe you have an ally there who'd be willing to loan you their vehicle, whether it's a ground car or some type of air raft or whatever. So that's a way an ally can be used. Contacts and allies are really important in Traveler because you want to establish an actual living, breathing universe. And to do that, it's important that characters have interactions with people they've interacted with before. And you as the GM have to be consistent in the behaviors of those they are interacting with. If you have had a contact where it's somebody who's been friendly, maybe a hotel keeper, and you've stayed in the hotel many times. He likes you. You guys have gotten along very well. You're a good tipper. It's just like having you there. You get a warm greeting every time you walk through the door. So that's a good contact. Maybe that person moves into being an ally because he was having a little local trouble, and you in some way were able to help him out a little bit. So now he goes out of his way to make sure that you have a really good time when you come visit his hotel. So again, this seems obvious, and it is, but the important aspect of these in my mind is keeping them consistent. I will actually write down contacts' names, and then I'll jot a few notes about them in my notes so that the next time they encounter this guy, then I know what to stay consistent in my reaction with him. Contacts can be a lot of fun. They can really drive your story. They can become the entire story. And allies can do the same thing, even to a greater degree. Most TV shows use that kind of thing. Kirk runs into any number of old girlfriends during the course of the original Star Trek. Spock even encounters an old girlfriend played by Jill Ireland in an episode. So you do have contacts or allies, and then of course the flip side of that are rivals and enemies. And I'll take a look at those because those seem a little more obvious and easy to run. It's just important, as I said, to remember that your contacts and allies can come up during character generation, and usually will. And a quick note down here: when you gain an associate from a random event noted on your character sheet, you can give as much detail as you wish, from the sketchy rival in Navy, sorry, I'm reading from the bottom, to the detailed Captain Herrick, the pride of Silea, is my rival, because I disobeyed his orders while on a mission. He had me drummed out of the Navy. Damn him, I'll yet have my revenge. Interesting thing here in this example is the captain may not even be aware of the enmity that your character holds him to, or holds to him. He was just doing his job. He had you drummed out because he thought you were incompetent. He probably never even gave it a thought, probably be struggling to remember your name 5 years later. And here you're walking around with this seething hatred for the guy. And then other travelers can be contacts, allies, or even rivals. And doing this qualifies for taking advantage of the connections rule. Connections rule is one of the neater things about traveler character creation in Mongoose. I might take a look at that in a short video all its own. But that's all I've got today from a shortened version. Still not feeling real great. Hoping to be back on my regular schedule come Monday. So please leave any comments. I'd be interested in your feedback. Also, I am probably going to continue doing some of these shorter videos. I've been producing content to the tune of about 60 to 75 minutes a week. That's not only a lot of filming, that's a lot of research. So I might introduce a couple of shorter ones during the week to kind of help ease my load a little bit. So that's all I've got to say today on page 121. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.